How can two people who once loved each other so fully, so profoundly, drift so far apart? My husband barely speaks to me anymore. He just slithers in and out of his study, obsessively working on one failed painting after another. He won't even sleep with me anymore. I can tell he's disgusted by me. The look he gave me the other day. That pathetic, hurtful look. A combination of shame, guilt, and repulsion. I've come to realize that I've become a monster in my husband's eyes. It feels like nothing a woman should ever experience. Still, being the good wife that I am, I decided to realize my husband's fantasy. If he thinks me a monster, I will sure as hell act the part.
Watch him drown.
Dear sir or madam, we must kindly, albeit strongly, urge you to keep your voices down during the night. Your marital problems, while regrettable, are a private matter and should remain that way. They are certainly of no concern to us, and especially our children. Please, consider that not everyone is a freelance artist. Some of us have to get up early and work for a living. We need our sleep. We must also warn you that if things continue the way they are now, we will be forced to call the police.
My home is my castle. Locked inside, I am safe.
feels as if it wasn't my hand that wrote the letters when using it. I'm sorry for yesterday. You were right. I overreacted. It's just that this isn't about me. It's about her. Everything I do with her best interest in mind. I guess I've always believed that in an imperfect world, it's worth it to strive for perfection. Now I'm starting to sound like my father. I will work on my temper, though. Promise. We'll talk later.
What we witness today, while entirely worthless in artistic terms, might be an invaluable case study for psychologists. These harsh words came from none other than Jason Hughes. The famed critic was one of the first to appreciate the works of, and whose praise once contributed to his first spectacular success. When asked if such brutal criticism was indeed called for, especially in light of the recent tragic events, Hughes responded, quote, "As critics, it is our duty to critique art, but not to judge the artist. The man has been through a lot lately, and obviously it has taken its toll on him. Still, if we were to remain silent and pretend this is even remotely acceptable, we would be doing the artist a disservice." Other critics were only slightly more lenient, as the
The thought alone that the most beautiful piece of art doesn't have my name on it is killing me. So, will you marry me?
in an unexpected experimental streak in his usually conservative endeavors, Thomas Caldwell hosted an extraordinary exhibition opening in his gallery. Quote, "This is a great day for me and my wife," said in the opening speech. Quote, "For us, this is not only an exhibition, this is how we want to live our life. Music accompanies my paintings just as she will accompany me in the future." It is rumored that after the exhibition, some kind of arrangement was set between Caldwell and
Have a responsibility. Finish it!
Linen won't do. Anyone can paint on a linen canvas. I am not anyone.
First, I looked for a canvas. Not just any canvas. I had to find a knife. Not one of those bread ones. It needed to be as sharp as a razor. So I used a razor, in fact, and then carefully flayed the skin. Booze helped keep my hand steady.
Figured you'd be up all night, so I made you a little treat. You know, I bet even Rembrandt occasionally took time off from being brilliant and snored his head off like the rest of us common folk. I know! In other words, get some sleep, you big dummy.
How the hell did they fuck up the length?
What we witnessed today, while entirely worthless in artistic terms, might be an invaluable case study for psychologists. These harsh words came from none other than Jason Hughes. The famed critic was one of the first to appreciate the works of, and whose praise once contributed to his first spectacular success. When asked if such brutal criticism was indeed called for, especially in light of the recent tragic events, Hughes responded, quote, "As critics, it is our duty to critique art, but not to judge the artist. The man has been through a lot lately, and obviously it has taken its toll on him. Still, if we were to remain silent and pretend this is even remotely acceptable, we would be doing the artist a disservice." Other critics were only slightly more lenient, as the
We are truly thrilled to hear that you accepted our humble proposition. After discussing dates with my colleague, we find this date the best time to open the exhibition. We need time to set everything up. Getting a piano to our gallery will be no small feat.
Prosthesis snatchers, insatiable bastards. Can't afford a new one. Why the damn leg?
How can two people who once loved each other so fully, so profoundly, drift so far apart? My husband barely speaks to me anymore. He just slithers in and out of his study, obsessively working on one failed painting after another. He won't even sleep with me anymore. I can tell he's disgusted by me.
First, I looked for a canvas. Not just any canvas.
It must be sharper.
Moths, drawn to the fire between them, no matter if the flame was desire, despair, or hate.
I hereby resign from service as maid in house.
I can't stand seeing you like this. You're not well. You were sweating and shaking all night, and now there you are, locked in your workshop as usual. This whole tortured artist nonsense has got to stop. You keep the fire in your office just to stop me, don't you? You hate me that much?
It's not like I'm some drunkard. I know how to handle my liquor.
Don't push me away.
Mince mice, chunky, crunchy. Carcasses starving me out, constantly sick.
I keep the fire because I'm freezing, for God's sake. All I asked for was an edible meal. At least one that had any taste at all. This is my house. You can't keep locking me in. You're so afraid of fire. How can you cut off the means of escape? Suddenly, everything I find relaxing is a fire hazard. Defy death. Defy entropy. Defy the flames. Finish it!
Here are the calculations you asked for. You need to also include the cost of lamps for every room.
I don't care how much it costs. She's afraid of fire. We will have electricity, and that is that.
Let's talk about the symbolic aspects of your work.
I'd rather not.
Why is that?
A symbolism is a word that gets thrown around a lot, usually when people don't really know what to make of you. The worst question you could possibly ask me is, what did you mean by that? If it was that simple, I wouldn't have painted it. I would have just told you. Of course, we can talk in general about themes that have always inspired me. Duality, conflict. I think that all art revolves around some sort of struggle. Whether or not we're able to see it, of course, is an entirely different matter.
The life of painting, the soul. I need it. I need it to be perfect, striking, vibrant life. Life, fire! Why did you stop? That tune was perfect. Honey, please, just a little longer. At least until I finish painting this one part. Oh, don't make me beg.
Here are the calculations you asked for. You need to also include...
I mean, I've seen you in my house so many times, and yet I could never find the courage to face you directly. Not until now.
Lice, mice, bald, bloody spots, hair, not mine. Where are the scissors?
nothing. They're getting smart. You always wanted to have a huge garden. Green calmed your nerves, you said. Is this the right door for me? No excuses, no accidents, no weakness. Just fire from the depths of your soul. Finish it. I need to fight the darkness. Come to that. But here we are. I will protect myself. Since my last letter, things only got worse. Yesterday, a stool broke underneath me. My cup stuck to a kitchen table. We need new servants. But these people are so lazy. It's like nobody wants to work anymore.
as of today, I'm resigning from work at this house. I think I don't have to explain reasons. You know how life in this house looks. If I could give you some advice, think about being more understanding and a bit nicer to future servants.
I'm done. I'll do it myself. Keeping the house from breaking apart can't be that hard. Why can't you understand? I'm working in here! I swear if I'm interrupted one more time... I thought it would be harder. It should be harder. Bones shouldn't break so easily.
He looked so delicious when the flame burned him out.
The only thing that could make her smile.
I needed to remove the flesh from the bone. At first, I was lost as to how, but then I sawed it off with a handsaw, boiled it, then put the bone in a mortar. I had to get one, obviously. This was not something I'd done before. Finally, I mixed the dust with some white paint. It made for a lovely undercoat.
Honey, what in the world are you doing? What did the doctor say about straining yourself? Leave that thing alone. It's not going anywhere. I needed to remove the flesh.
I thought it would be harder.
Their life started to fall apart. Everything he touched turned to rot.
I will get you, you furry leeches. Get out of my house.
Look, honey, it's your favorite. Come, sit with me, like in the old times.
Blood is thicker than water. Everything I touch breaks.
Good, solid undercoat. A primer that will hold it all together so it doesn't rot.
The world is breaking around us.
You're so...
While I can certainly understand that you are upset, and I have nothing but sympathy for your wife and yourself, I must categorically state that I do not wish to receive any further correspondence from you in this matter. Any skin graft procedure is extremely complicated and inherently associated with the risk of failure. Having stated that, I assure you that me and my colleagues at St. Anne have made every effort to ensure a positive outcome for your wife. Personally speaking, I believe we have done the best job possible considering the extent of tissue damage. You are, of course, entitled to your opinion, and I can certainly understand your disappointment. What I do not understand is how you seem to think writing hateful letters to me or my fellow doctors will ameliorate the situation. As I've already stated, I can certainly understand you've been under a lot of stress as of late, and thus I will not press charges if you refrain from any further correspondence. Let me make it absolutely clear that I will not tolerate any further threats aimed at my staff, my family, or myself. If you wish to seek psychological help, I can have my assistant provide contact information for several specialists who would be more than competent to help you get through these hard times.
Damn Ash!
Cleaning this house is a nightmare. We don't even use the fireplace that often, and ash is everywhere.
I'm terribly sorry for your inconvenience, but we've seen no fluctuations of power in your area, and see no issues in the neighborhood. And since you didn't allow entry to our electricians, we cannot help you in any way.
Some paintings defy simple words, let alone critique. A basic knowledge of the subject is an absolute must if one is to even try taming them. Babyface is one such painting. This art anomaly draws tens of thousands of mediocrity enthusiasts and Sunday abstraction aficionados. In reality, it looks like a result of a week-long art marathon of a not very well-adjusted painter locked in a dark basement. Leaving aside the horrible execution, the painting excels in a hideous,